The Gulf Coast Growth Show is sponsored by Chevron Pasadena Refinery and is an extension of the Economic Alliance Houston Port Region, where our mission is to market and grow a vibrant regional economy. All right, guys. Hey, welcome back to the Gulf Coast Growth Show. I'm your host, Jason Lee, and I'm joined by my co-host, Zeke Smith.
What's up, Jason?
Zeke, glad to have you today.
Yes, sir.
And we are here with the legendary Jim Griffin, the Associate Vice Chancellor and Senior Vice President at San Jac College, the LyondellBasell Center for Petrochem, Energy, and Technology. Jim, great
Officially the longest title in history of America.
That is.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Thank God your name is just Jim Griffin.
Yeah.
You know, not Thaddeus Bartholomew.
Yeah.
You know, like,
we lucked out on that one.
Yeah, we did.
So, Jim, we've had you on the show a few times. It's always great to get an update from what's happening out there with you guys and the work that you're doing. For those that are new either to the organization or this show and don't know who you are and what you and exactly what it is that makes you legendary, share a little bit about you, where you came from, what you did, and then what you're doing today.
Yeah. Well, legend is probably not the right term, but I guess when you have this much gray hair, they've got to name you something. But started in the industry as a young engineer, like so many of us. I was blessed to have some really good early assignments. Geographically throughout the United States and some international work. And then, you kind of progress. The company decides whether you're better suited on the technical side, being an engineer's engineer, or more of a leadership path. And I chose the leadership path. It took me to a plant manager's role, which over about 20 years, had the opportunity to lead at 4 different plant sites.
Okay.
And then the last 6 years have been with San Jac at the Center for Petrochemical, Energy, and Technology. So I was fortunate to come in at a time where we built the facility. Yeah. It came in on time and on budget. We're very happy with that. We have a lot of industry partners, and now we've been up and operating for 4 years.
Wow. So fantastic facility. It's become the hosting place, right, of most of the events that are taking place here in the region, which I think you guys do a great job of opening your doors. Talk to us a little bit about what's happening with the industry engagement, the training, just overall. Give us a kind of an overview of really where you guys have come in the last 4 years and what you're seeing from an industry involvement engagement perspective.
Sure. Yeah, if you ask me kind of what the secret sauce is, what
Right.
that is, it is absolutely the industry engagement. And what I mean by engagement is when this facility was designed 6 or 7 years ago, there was approximately 60 industry partners that worked on the design of this facility. It has 35 custom laboratories, right?
Wow.
And so that process, which was about 2 years in the making, I think, the industry has their fingerprints on the solution, on the fix. So they're at the site every day. Yep. And working with our students, which will eventually, work in their organizations, but also training up incumbent workers, younger engineers, or bringing in new technology. So, it's one of the rare, I would say, educational facilities where it is built by industry and for industry.
I love it.
And the cool part about that, especially in a college setting, is every year you have 3 different terms, right? So you get to adjust and change and try out new things. And we get a lot of feedback from our industry members. They let us know what works and what doesn't work. And it's kind of like a big pilot plant where you get a chance to experiment and try different things and get a lot of feedback from your industry members. And the blessing here, as you all know, we've got 125 plants within 14 miles of here.
Right.
So that's 80 different companies. All of them are global. They hire a little over 100,000 people here locally. So we've got the scale.
Crazy.
Right? And no place else like it in the world.
So I always think about, that was a great jump into my next question. So you said no place other like it in the world. So are there other petrochem training facilities similar to this throughout the U.S.? And if there are there really any that are from a junior college? I can't imagine that's the case.
Yeah. So other community colleges, and I think we're gonna talk a little bit later today about North American Process Technology Association.
Okay.
But yes, absolutely, there are community colleges across the nation
Okay.
that have partnerships with industry, not to this extent,
Right.
right? And part of it is we're just so fortunate to be on the Houston Ship Channel.
Well,
right?
of course.
So we have a geographic advantage that others don't. But I think also part of that is our staff and faculty. There's 60 of us, and with a lot of industry experience,
Sure.
Right.
and a lot of different relationships and friendships and experience and knowledge. But yes, there's community colleges across the nation that have process technology, and we learn from each other.
Okay.
There's collaborative efforts. In fact, we meet frequently. We learn from each other, and I want Sanjak to be the very best. I want to be the leader of that pack.
Right.
That said, we work pretty tight with the other community colleges.
So do kids come in from like other parts of the U.S. to go to school here specifically for this type of training?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the quick answer is we're a community college, so we really service our community.
Understood.
And the state of Texas does such a good job with community colleges. So there's about 1,200 community colleges across the nation. I happen to think Texas has the best of the best. But we'll have incumbent workers from across the country, in fact, actually across the world training with us.
Okay.
However, our students that are receiving a degree in one of our 6 technical paths are mostly local students.
Right.
I mean, you think of it. I mean, it's a kind of a no-brainer, but you think specific to the what we have to offer here. It's almost like you could get away with people saying, "Well, I'm going to go down there," because they might not ever get to find.
It's probably a
that.
deferred
So,
path, right?
yeah.
They've come here from somewhere else in the country or the world, and then they work at a plant and they say, hey, I want to advance my career. So now I'm going to go
Right.
to the community college and take classes, that incumbent worker that Jim mentioned. So I
Right.
think, between here, between Sanjak and the
Right.
Baytown area and down to Brazosport and all we have 4 or 5 of the best, I think, in the country, right? That service this industry, and certainly the partnerships are what help make that happen. Can I just jump back, not backward in the questions, but just I'm curious to have your take on this, coming from industry into academia. What was the spark that made the community colleges undertake things like this, centers like this? What made Sanjak and others say, hey, we need a center for petrochemical energy and technology? Why do we need that?
So, I'll just answer for Sanjak.
Sure.
And I'll use this macro term of leadership. I believe it started with the Chancellor. She had that vision. She understands the community. She has a lot of respect for the petrochemical industry. So I think it started there. I would also say organizations like ECMA that are very, very strong, good leadership organization, built by plant managers,
Right.
engaged in the community. And then I just, all of my friends most of my friends are in this industry.
Sure.
And it's interesting because they give back to the community every day. They're engaged. And they'll always say their most important asset is their people. And they see this opportunity to build strong teams. And I think all of that collaborative effort came together in something that was probably bigger than the college vision was from the get-go.
Sure. And then you got workforce shortage, and you got folks, and the owners saying we need more skilled workers. We need to upskill current workers, make them more safe, competent.
Sure. Yeah.
Where do we do that? We can't do that as a company. Where can we send them? We need places like that.
It's interesting in the industry, right? Because often, and our facility describes it, because it's petrochemical, energy, and technology.
Sure.
Right? So this industry is big on technology, as you know, and that's another one of the engagements. The industry sees that a facility like the LyondellBasell Center for Petrochemical Energy and Technology can help develop that technology, right? So if you're at a university, you do some research work, but it's theoretical, it's good, it's important. What we can do at our site is a little more developmental, treat it again like a pilot plant.
Right.
And I think that's what's been, and we've been easy to deal with, right? We try to kind of cut through the administrative and the difficult things that sometimes you might get with an educational institution.
Sure.
And our leadership at the college helps us in that area.
Be more nimble, take more feedback.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They
Collaborative, like you said.
Absolutely.
You mentioned development, right? And so I would imagine what you build and what y'all built can't be stagnant. It's got to be constantly evolving. Talk to us about some of the new technology that you guys are
Right.
instituting.
Innovation, yeah.
Yeah.
Innovation.
So, and everybody's talking AI, right? And
Yeah.
it's guys, it's real. It is. Yeah, I felt that this industry for a long time has had good artificial intelligence, right? Because when you operate a plant, these large petrochemical complexes, billions of dollars, they collect millions of data points every day, right? And the one with the most data doesn't win. That's not it, right? It's the one that takes the data to information, right? Takes the information into action, and then evaluates the action,
Right.
right? So a lot of what we're doing is on the AI side. I read in the Wall Street a couple of days ago that 4% of our U.S. energy today goes into AI. The electricity soon, within the next 5 years, is going to be 20% of the electricity. That's how big that's become. So,
Wow.
so we have some AI projects, we have distributed control systems projects, we have communications pieces, right? So in a plant, as an example, they run 24/7, right?
Right.
So let's say you and I relieve each other, right? I've worked 12 hours, now you come on to run that same process for 12 hours. How we communicate that? It used to be handwritten logs, so we were only as good as what we wrote in that log. Now it's electronic, right? And we're advancing that communication tool. We're advancing that artificial intelligence of the process. We're running some trials that are around safety and environmental, how you continue to improve, continuous improvement in safety and environmental reductions. We're working with the Hydrogen Hub in Houston. That's exciting. We are the energy capital of the world and will continue to be. And I think Sanjak's positioned right in the middle of all that.
Nice.
You don't have a choice, right? They're gonna make sure that you're in the center of it, right? Continue to get that feedback. All right. So speaking of the school, big news, big announcements. Any exciting things coming for the CPET Center that you want to share with us in the audience?
So yeah, thanks for the question. Yeah. So in the next 30 days, we have 3 things that I think your audience might be very interested in. Mention NAPTA, North American Process Technology Association. So one of the things they do is they have a competition, and we're from Texas, right? We all like competition. That's what helps us become successful. So all these colleges across North America have process technology teams, and they do troubleshooting and these are with simulations, and that competition will be held in a couple of weeks. And they're down to 12 teams now. I'm proud to say that Sanjak has 2 of the 12 teams in the running. I'm also proud to say that last year we did take first and second in this competition across North America. But that'll be held in a couple of weeks. And really proud of our students and our faculty and our professors that lead that effort. In addition to that, and we run a pretty good sized welding organization. We have about 400 students studying welding. It's important for the construction industry. And we have welding competition that will occur in 3 weeks. And it's great. It's judged by the industry, and it's really impressive to see these students participate in that. And then lastly, 4 weeks from now, we have something called an extended run. So I think we have this facility, we call it a glycol unit. It's a process unit that you would see in a plant. This unit will run for 3 consecutive days, and each class relieves each other like a shift.
Oh, cool.
Right? So, and the industry members are there from dozens of companies observing, and then throwing them all the curveballs, right? So we'll have instrumentation fail, and we'll have a welding team come in and they'll write a hot work permit, right? Or they'll do an unloading operation, or that non-destructive testing students will come in and they'll inspect the metallurgy. And the industry members that are there observing, and the industry members are also there deciding that, well, now it's time to have a level instrument fail or a flow instrument fail, and they're gonna have to troubleshoot that. And they do that continuously for 3 days. And they write shift logs and communicate to each other. And so it's operated just like you would
That's cool.
if you were at Chevron. and the industry members are there to observe, and it's wonderful. It's a day in the life.
That's
So
so
those
cool.
three
Or 3
things,
days in the life.
3
or
days.
3 days.
Yeah,
in life.
right,
Yeah,
right,
absolutely.
right.
So those three things with an extended run and the NAPTA competition and the welding competition, that all occurs in the next 4 weeks.
Busy month.
And it keeps our students active, hands-on, and they get to know the industry partners well. When you see the conversation between the students and a very successful, career-oriented graduate that maybe has been in the industry for a few years, or we have one of our industry partners that actually has an office with us, and he's worked at his plant for 47 years.
Wow.
47. Wow. And he's pouring back into these students.
Yeah, I love it.
So yeah, it's that kind of engagement and involvement makes the job a lot of fun.
Man,
Of course.
it's you like light up like a Christmas tree, man. It's so cool to watch you. I mean, all these years in it, and you're just getting as excited as probably day one when you start to talk about this stuff. I mean, obviously a big transition having gone from running plants to now academia. Talk to us about that. Like, I mean, you're just like I said, your enthusiasm's through the roof. What's the last 6 years in this transition been like for you? What have you gleaned from it?
Yeah.
How do you continue to grow in it? Tell us about that.
Yeah, good question. Where we started 6 years ago, we needed a change agent, and I wasn't sure if academia was going to be as interested in change as what we would be in business and industry.
Right.
What I found out was academia was very supportive of that change. Now we needed to get the leadership invested in that, and we need to have good strategy and partners. But we made a lot of change. In fact, we went through all the curriculum, and we did a lot of modifications, but it was through industry involvement.
Yeah.
So what I really appreciated about the job is that you kind of reset yourself 3 times a year, and you start the next set of courses again, and you can make change, and you can test and trial. And the industry partnership, I'll probably continue to mention that through our discussion, is because the industry members are there every day, and they're watching, and they're giving you feedback, and they're looking to see if you've taken that feedback and you've done something with that.
Right.
But also because we've had so much traction, we've had really good industry people that have been very successful in their career, and now have come to us either working as a part-time adjunct or full-time. So it's been a great 6 years, and the next 6 years has at least that much potential, because what we're seeing in the energy industry and how global the petrochemical industry has become, and the new technologies that we're delivering, I think we're going to grow and expand, and we're building on the successes. Texas Workforce Commission helps us follow our students and follow the success of the students. So at the end of the day, and our students are a little. Let me talk about our students. So our average age is 26. So our students have worked someplace, right? In fact, 80% of them are part-time, but they finish in 2.3 years with an associate degree. So they work hard.
Right.
In fact, if you want to come and visit us at night, we run our physics and chemistry classes till 10 o'clock at night. And you'll meet a student that worked all day in some job,
Right.
and now is in a physics class or a chemistry class at night, right?
Wow.
Advancing their education. 50% of our graduates are first generation. That's
Love that.
pretty amazing, right?
That's amazing.
We're a
Yeah.
minority serving institution. 80% of our students are in a minority category.
Jesus.
80%, right?
Yeah.
And that's across the college.
Yeah.
And San Jack's pretty big, 30,000 students.
I mean, that's a
Unbelievable.
tribute to the region, right?
Yeah.
Houston and the surrounding region being so
Yeah.
diverse and
Unbelievable.
being,
Yeah.
but frankly, it's a tribute to the region being economically viable and having a ton of opportunity. People want to come here
Right.
from, like you
Opportunity.
said, from across the globe. And you said you used it, geographic advantage, that term. That's their key, right?
Yeah.
People want to come here from across the globe because they see that Houston is a spot to be, and we have facilities I can go work. I can also go to San Jack and
Right.
advance my career, not just, I don't want to say just, but not just do this job for 30 years, do this job advancing in leadership, et cetera, be a Jim Griffin when I grow up, like something like that, right?
So we all want to be a Jim Griffin?
Yeah.
Oh, you gotta shoot higher than that.
Yeah,
Come
you go.
on, man.
There you go.
Legendary. So as we get ready to wrap up, Jim, first of all, always great to hear from you because I think you bring such tremendous value, such great energy, and you can tell you're passionate about what you do and the impact that you guys have. 30,000 kids, making a difference, changing lives, and then really feeding and fueling what we have. You mentioned it earlier, this unique pocket that we're here, where we have so much access globally and we have such a huge impact on the GDP. It wouldn't be possible without the people, right? And the people to fuel it. And then and such a diverse group of people that would be able to go do that in positions that you're in, kind of leading the way. With that being said, is there anything else that you want to make sure you capture before we get off the show today?
I would just, again, thank you to our partners. Congratulations to the students. The student success rate is really high.
Yeah.
We have high standards, right? And we hold our students accountable. And when they finish and they have that career, and you get that phone call or that text or that little note that, that their whole family has prospered because these jobs, it's a great career jobs, right?
Oh my gosh.
And then they recognize the products that they make, that they go into medical devices and they go into all the technologies that we have every day, and they really transform what we do. I can't imagine a day without chemistry. And I think as they see these products and what these products mean to not just Houston or Texas, but globally, they feel proud of what they're producing, and they take ownership, and then they make that company better, and those companies grow, and so all of that,
Awesome.
makes Houston the place Houston is.
Great way to wrap up the show.
Tribute to
and,
experiential learning.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
Except for you say it way cooler because you got that accent, which is always
Yeah, South Louisiana accent,
Yeah.
right? South
Yeah.
Louisiana, right?
South Louisiana.
Hockey player,
Yeah.
South Louisiana.
Yeah.
Deep in the bayou down there.
I can't shake this accent,
Yeah.
even though I've been in Texas a long
I
time.
love it. Hey guys, as always, we thank you for tuning in. Again, Jim Griffin. I'm not going to say the whole thing. We're just going to say the
You
associate
say
vice chancellor.
CPET, LyondellBasell CPET. That's
There you
perfect.
go.
Yeah.
And he's leading the way over there. Always a great host for our events, and so thankful to have you as part of the organization.
Industry
part of the
icon
region.
award winner.
Industry, yeah.
Yeah, I
So,
believe so, yeah.
so with that being said, always stay tuned in to us, stay plugged in. Make sure you pay it forward by giving this message out to somebody, sharing it with a kid who's maybe thinking about getting involved in the industry. Would be a great way to use this as a resource. If you have comments or feedback, you can push it back to myself or Zeke. Using LinkedIn is a great way to get a hold of us.
Yep.
And if you want to get connected to the organization, the great events that we have going on, or tune into our podcast more regularly, you can go to allianceportregion.com and plug into that website. It'll give you all the instructions, directions on how to get plugged in and become part of all the great things we're doing here at the Economic Alliance. We thank you for tuning in to the Gulf Coast Growth Show, and we will talk to you and see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning in, and be sure to go to the Economic Alliance Houston Port Region website and subscribe to our channels. And let's pay it forward by sharing the good news of what's happening in our region by passing this episode to somebody you know.